Yo, what's up? It's been I think 8 days already since I dropped another video. I've been dropping shorts of Clash Royale gameplay, but that's just been like a side thing. It's not really the content I really want to put out. It's just like I did want to do gameplay, but I thought it wasn't gonna be that fun, but it does pretty good views and it's easy to make, so I could just make that if I don't really want to make content at the time, and I didn't really feel like making too much. I was had a lot going on, so now I'm gonna be posting videos again. I hope at least. I don't know if I'll post immediately after today, but I'm hoping to continue back again for the new year specifically. I did make a post too, talking about my goals for YouTube. So if you want to just read that to know about that. But anyways, today I'm gonna be talking about the recent One Piece chapter, which is 1071. Since it's been a week since it came out, well, not came out, it didn't come out officially. It came out via like scanlations, so it's not the official. So also don't take this as like none of the things I ever read are officials. This is more like a spoiler in that sense. But yeah. Anyways, these translations I read it and I just had to read it again because it's been a long time. So now I remember stuff and I have even more stuff to talk about with this chapter. So anyways, here's about all that boring stuff. Let's get on to the chapter. 1071. Awesome chapter. Another banger. I don't know how Oda does it every week, releasing the greatest chapter after the greatest chapter has just been released. Well, it's not like he released the greatest chapter after, but he released another good chapter. One of the greatest he's released this year. Personally, I really enjoyed this chapter. And as I keep mentioning before, Egghead is the greatest arc post time skip. Nothing can change my mind. This chapter just kind of solidifies it even more. Everything that came out in this chapter, fire, banger. Even the stuff that wasn't as interesting, which was just them talking, I'm like, okay, this is cool. We don't always see the Straw Hats talking after that. It's like, it's awesome, honestly. Like, this is what I've been wanting from One Piece for the post time skip, and we're actually getting a lot of it in this arc. A lot of compactness, the pacing's good. But, anyways, about the chapter. First of all, I'm not gonna try to summarize too much. And yeah, there's gonna be spoilers. I probably should have mentioned that earlier, but spoilers for the chapter now. Kuma goes back to Mary Joas, and I I don't know what to say about that. It's cool. It's like it kind of reminds me of like how the Straw Hats were saying that they were gonna come back to Sabaody after they just got completely obliterated, but then we have the 2 year time skip after that. But it's basically like he just went he was just taken from Mary Joas. He comes back because he has some unfinished business. And honestly, I can't wait to see what he's gonna do there. It's probably gonna be something huge. Like I have a, I have a. He might die. I don't know if he's gonna die because Oda probably wouldn't do that, especially with how much he's been hyping up Bonnie to just well not hyping up, but how much he's been like building towards both Bonnie and Kuma meeting again. And honestly, I want to see them again, both together, both Kuma and Bonnie again, because we'll get a lot more about Kuma, and he's one of the most not just interesting, most one of the most mysterious characters in the story right now, since we don't really know what his motive is, why he's doing the things he does. It's like all kept under like a tight seal, and I know it's gonna be really good, especially from what they've already shown, what they've like the lore he has. He might be one of the best characters when we learn more about him, but he's already like rising up there, especially after what he did in this chapter. And you know, continuing from the previous chapters, Luffy is back to normal again, which yeah, makes sense, you know. Besides that, uh, the real interesting part of this chapter was, I guess, like I was saying, the Straw Hats interacting, and well, it's not the most interesting part, but it's kind of like I enjoy that we get to see not just the Straw Hats but the Vegapunks interacting with one another, which I think is very cool. It's like the one thing I feel like the Toby Ropo didn't have enough of was interacting with one another. They kind of had that one area, that one time where they interacted with each other when they were all together, but I would have wanted them to like interact a little more with one another. Like I think that would have been a little bit more interesting. Like you did have like Ulti in page one, but what we're getting with the Vegapunks is like a completely different dynamic. It's like they're their own crew, and that's what makes them cool. Like I know that the Toby Ropo aren't their own crew and they're kind of under Kaido, but that's what makes the Vegapunks, in my opinion, a lot cooler than the Toby Ropo. I mean, they're not villains too, but oh yeah. By the way, meant talking about the antagonist, I guess. CP0 is I I don't know, they're really cool too. Like I like how salty Lucci is after after he gets beat by Luffy. He's like, I'm not gonna recognize him as an emperor. That's so funny to me. It's like he got whooped so badly. He's like, I'm never gonna recognize him as an emperor. I don't know. It's just so funny to me. Like, I love it. And then the interactions with CP0, the members themselves are it's Kaku, Lucci. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and all of them are good interactions in this chapter. I ah also I did remember now. I remember now. Okay, hold on. The Vegapunks, well, not Vegapunks. Vegapunk himself calls a mysterious person, and I'm pretty sure that's Smoker because he's the only one that we don't see at the Navy base, which is G14, and it would make so much sense for him to be on Vegapunk's island, especially after what happened in Punk Hazard. Not to mention, it would be super dope if it's actually him, because like it's like the Straw Hats meeting again with Smoker, but this time as emperors. Oh, that would be so cool. I can't. Uh, I'm a little bit too hyped. I'm a big Smoker fan. I'm kind of disappointed with his like appearances in post time skip. Like he was very active in pre time skip. He kept showing up every now and then, kind of like a rival. Not so much right now, but it's obvious Luffy was gonna surpass him. But it would have been cool if we got to see them fight again. Like we haven't seen that again from them. But besides that, it's still really awesome. I think it would be cool if it's Smoker, and it makes a lot of sense for it to be Smoker in my opinion. Especially because they're gonna need an escape, and Smoker makes smoke. I don't. I see that as like, you know, obvious, right? You need a smoke screen to escape, right? So, anyways, besides the smoker thing, gosh damn. After that, there was like the dome sort of shut off, and like CP0 could now get in, and I was thinking, it might be Kizaru since he has like the light powers, but I don't know if it's Kizaru. Someone said it was Brook, but no, I don't. He didn't show up, but I don't think it's Brook. He wouldn't turn off the defense system for no reason. It might be Kizaru, but I can't tell if it is actually Kizaru. One of the Vegapunks might be an imposter, which I really hope that's not the case, but I don't know who could have possibly turned it off, whether on accident or on purpose. But anyways, they the CP0 go up and probably one of the most hype like encounters again. Kind of like Lucci and Luffy. Kaku goes in to try to sky slicer, like he does the same thing he did in Enies Lobby, but just casually this time. Just like Lucci did the Rokogun and then just casually this time. And then Zoro, Zoro just wakes up, like he just wakes up and stops, and like it's so we needed another Zoro moment like this. I've been missing these Zoro moments where he just kind of like just comes in clutch again, like when everyone else is like busy doing something else, he's just like there to like keep the team together in a sense. And this time he saves the ship because he's sleeping, but he does it in the most awesome way, the most Zoro way ever, which is to wake up from his sleep and said, "Who woke me up?" And it's awesome. I really like that. And then Kaku's just like he's so surprised. He's like, "Roro Noah!" Like, oh my gosh. I just CP0 so cool. Zoro awesome. After that, we get like two of the best back to back, like out of the arc panels. And we've been getting a bunch of good art out of arc panels, like Law versus Blackbeard. What else happened out of Blackbeard versus? Well, no, that was before. Okay, no, but yeah, Law versus Blackbeard. That was awesome, honestly. And now we're getting where Kid is heading to, which is Elbath, and I'm really excited for what happens in Elbath. Uh, Kid is gonna be important. I know a lot of people want to downplay Kid, but he is very important to the story. Whether or not you like him, he's going to be a part of the story. He's very important. He has advanced conquerors hockey, which not a lot of characters have, even though most of the best, I mean, most of the strongest characters have advanced conquerors. But I don't think they would just give someone like Kid advanced conquerors and not do anything with him. There was like Chinjao, who's like the only one that was like kind of didn't really do much, but he's already old, so that makes sense. And I can already see someone like Kid becoming like the next, maybe not rival, but yeah, it's like a kind of like a rival to Luffy. But I think they'll team up because that's literally been the entire thing. Like they've always teamed up. But maybe Oda has something like a little bit of a like they'll have them fight one another, which might be cool, honestly. But I'm not sure about that. And then I know I literally am doing an entire summary of this chapter at this point, but almost everything in this chapter is worth talking about. So now we're going on to the final part of the chapter, which is Garp. Oh my gosh, it's Garp. I really can't like just reading this again because I read this again. It just hits so like we get to see Garp in the manga. We have not really seen Garp do anything. Like back in Marineford, he does like this one thing where to this day I still find very impressive. He hurts Marco the Phoenix. He actually hurt him. Like he literally like left him with like a damage mark. Like not even the admirals, like not Akainu couldn't do it, Aokiji couldn't do it, Kizaru couldn't do it. He even had Sea Prism Stone at one point, and he still was like okay afterwards. But the one who like just stopped him was like Garp. He just comes in, fists him to the ground. Like yeah, this guy is gonna start doing stuff in the new world, and he's gonna go up against Blackbeard or whoever is at this place to save Kobe, and I'm thinking maybe Garp is gonna fight with Blackbeard, and Blackbeard's gonna be fighting with Law. So he's gonna join in on the Blackbeard versus Law, and he that's how it's gonna stop. Because you know how Boa Hancock versus Blackbeard was stopped by Rayleigh. I think it'll be like what's it called? Garp stops Blackbeard against Law. Maybe or maybe not. I'm not sure the timeline because we don't really get a timeline. But I'm guessing that's what's gonna happen. Is that Garp is right now heading to fight Blackbeard, and Blackbeard's gonna be in a confrontation versus Law. So that will be very interesting to see, and we might actually see Aokiji pull up too, because in the Blackbeard versus Law fight, We only saw like a couple of the Blackbeard people, like mainly from his original crew, the original four he had. We really saw everyone else. We haven't really seen too much of, but yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what Garp does, what he's cooking up, what Oda's been cooking up with for Garp this entire time. I don't think he's gonna die because Garp is kind. I think he's gonna be necessary for it'll be necessary for him to meet Luffy one last time. He'll be like the final big marine obstacle before Akainu, before he fights Akainu. Because if you've seen Marineford War, you know that he couldn't save Ace, right? And whether or not you agree with like his actions in Marineford War, it's very important to note that he couldn't save Ace. Luffy is literally his grandson, and Luffy's gonna be fighting the world government and the Marines at some point in the story. So who else is gonna stop him before he gets into a potentially dangerous situation other than Garp? His own grandfather. Because Dragon isn't gonna stop him. If anything, they're gonna ally, or maybe just be friends with benefits, I guess, or mutuals with benefits. Both for a similar goal. And the only one that can realistically try and stop him at that point would be Garp. And I think that would be cool to see like final showdown, Garp versus Luffy, and because he's gonna be pulling up on Blackbeard, we can finally actually see how strong Garp is, like why he's been hyped up as the hero of the Marines. Because he didn't really show any of that off in Marineford War, except for like hurting Marco. He was not really showing his full potential. I just can't wait. Garp, the hero of the Marines, by the way. Not no 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 not even hero of the Marines. I think it's hero of the Navy. Like literally the greatest guy from the Navy. I can't wait, honestly. Anyways, if you enjoyed this review or if you hated it, if you have any complaints on this chapter, I don't care, honestly. You are wrong. If you say anything bad about this chapter, you're just factually incorrect because this is one of the greatest chapters Oda has put out ever. Not just today, just one of the greatest of all time. Classic One Piece chapter. I think it might not be talked about later, but for me, this is one of the best chapters of 2022 or 2023. Well, whatever. One of the greatest chapters Oda has released. Egghead is the best arc. Your opinion is validated, and see you later.